Science is real is complete and total fake science. And if you understand that, you understand their entire globalist program. The Club of Rome in the 1960s was a powerful consortium of international elites. Much of their private corporate meetings was declassified in the late 1990s in a congressional data dump because they'd been interfacing with the Energy Department and different Senate and House committees. I exposed this in my film Endgame. That's End Game, Blueprint for Global Enslavement. It's free online if you'd like to go watch it. It's about 2.5 hours long. Shows the documents highlighted from their internal publications. And the Club of Rome, financed by the UN and others, said, we want to promote that humans are bad and have a system to tax energy worldwide to fund a corporate world government. We also want to be able to stifle certain countries, corporations, and individuals from developing and using what we call disruptive technologies, zero-point energy and things like that they knew were theoretically possible even in the 1960s. And of course, were discovered in the 80s, and the media discredited all that in the 90s. It's been now proven everywhere, but it's just you never hear about it because it was a non sequitur, non-starter. You're not supposed to, talk about it. But there are hundreds of different types of advanced technologies that have been developed on energy, communications, you name it. They get shelved. That's incontrovertible. That's admitted. So the Club of Rome said humans have a life force. Humans have a will to survive. Humans have a will to innovate. How do we make sure under a new feudalist system, because that's the elite's favorite system, is have everybody else dumb and poor, they have technology, they have advanced systems like life extension. You don't. So how do we bring in neo-feudalistic serfdom? That's their term, neo-feudalistic serfdom. You might want to go read what they said about you. They admittedly, David Rockefeller funded China and Mao as an experiment. Good God, 100 million plus dead people, 80 million under Mao. So I've actually, not a pseudo-intellectual, I've actually read the Club of Rome publications, hundreds of them. It's a periodical put out every month. I have read the CFR reports. You can read these are all public, where they said we'll geoengineer with aerosol spray to manipulate the environment over certain countries. You can just type in CFR geoengineering, you'll get it 5 years ago. But again, people like Stephen Colbert and folks that pose as newscasters, that pose as actors, that pose as newscasters, they make jokes and say, Alex Jones is crazy. He says them things up in the sky. Or it's the other guy too. He does it, the South African guy that does the Daily Show. Oh my God, look at them jets are spraying on
Trevor
me.
Noah.
Yeah, Trevor Noah. What is that up there? That's condensation trails, Mr. Jones. As if we don't know those aren't ice crystals. We have thousands of declassified documents, Department of Energy, admitting that they've got a $5 billion a year program that's secret, but the program is admitted for high altitude aerosol manipulation of the atmosphere to protect us from global warming. And you can spend 30 seconds to just type in CFR admits geoengineering. Bill Gates runs secret government geoengineering program. Bill Gates can control hurricanes. You'll get MIT. You'll get Associated Press. You'll get Daily Mail. And then I watch Trevor Noah, making fun of my Texas accent, because I know you've got a British accent or South African or whatever, so you're a bigot. All Texans are bad, whether we're black, white, or Hispanic. Everybody else is smart. We knuckle drag here. We didn't invent anything. NASA's not based here. Most of the CEOs on average don't come from here. We don't have one of the highest standards of living, one of the highest amounts of billionaires. I understand. You can speak in a British accent. I understand that. All right? Do you understand? So that was just like Friday night. He was attacking me. Every major channel saying I'm insane. And why? Because I've actually read thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of white papers. I actually watched C-SPAN. So that said, you have George Soros who funded the Women's March with all the Islamists putting hijabs on women. And then it turns out the other march saying, hand over your tax returns was them. This is all in the news. A weirdo Nazi collaborator with billions of dollars he gives every few years to this. And they also fund as if they're science. Anyone that disagrees with them is against science because they speak for science. They've been saying for 20 years, nobody disagrees with man-made global warming but kooks. But the Club of Rome thought that there was about to be a cooling cycle looking at the different sunspots and talking to astrophysicists in the 60s. So they said, let's promote global freezing. So anybody alive then knew they were saying ice age by 1980. We need a global tax to cut carbon or we'll freeze to death. They were saying, actually, accurately so, looking at some of the models, that more carbon would actually make us colder because it blocks the sun out. But then that didn't happen. So then they say, oh my God, it's global warming. And it did kind of heat in the 90s. And then for the last 17 years, it's been slightly cooling because of sunspot activity going down, solar flares going down. This is all admitted in major, astrophysicist publications. It's not debated the sun's the main driver, ladies and gentlemen. And so they said, oh, now it's climate change. If you don't believe in that, you're anti-science. I 100% believe in climate change. Change is the only constant. But again, they misrepresent what we say and what we do. We think there ain't no such thing as ice crystals from jet wings. Yeah, we do. See, they build straw men. We want to know about the admitted giant aerosol program that we've noticed hadn't been going on for the last 3 months. Little birdie told me somebody was going to kill that program. That's why they're so pissed, folks. Take a look at that sky right now. Never used to see that. Now we see that almost every day in Texas, just like before 1992, when a Nobel Prize was given to a group of scientists for a plan to add to jet fuel aluminum dioxide and barium salts as well as barium to create nuclei to create and darken the Earth. And you can Google, the Earth is 21% darker, the Earth is 30% darker, 21% was a decade ago. Now they say it's 30% darker. BBC, Reuters, with satellite photos of the trails blocking out the sun. But suddenly meteorologists started announcing that, a lot of meteorologists also have been on the news, said it's chaff. That's their old term for it, meaning metal. Well, yeah, but it's much smaller chaff. It's microscopic chaff, not chaff to block or create fake radar trails when your jets are coming in to drop nukes, but micro chaff to actually create nuclei to form condensation where it shouldn't be. But it is condensation, but it's toxic condensation. So it's just simply amazing. I tried to make a film about geoengineering for 2 years. We had over 1,000 documents, hundreds of videos, and I couldn't make it because there was just too much evidence. I think, Buckley, we ought to just get that film, get it, and just put it out in a month and just release it for free. Just show all the chemtrail footage, all the geoengineering meetings on C-SPAN, them admitting they're controlling the weather. But no, there's no literature on chemtrails. That's a lay term from the mid-90s. But geoengineering, high-altitude aerosol spraying, don't believe me. You'll see Dubai, you'll see China, you'll see England, you'll see Russia doing it. But the US, it's classified. But you'll see them admitting they're doing it. But that's 1 micron of the news. So here I am saying science is real. Of course science is real. But it's like they say no one disagrees with us, everyone agrees with global warming, now it's climate change. Well, of course we agree there's climate change, but we don't agree with your plan of a carbon tax to the richest people in the world, transferring massive, massive, massive amounts of money to the elites so that their companies are tax exempt and don't have to have the carbon taxes. General Electric, if you study this, General Electric, 8 years ago with Obama, they couldn't get carbon taxes passed, so Obama just shut down over 1,000 power plants they didn't own and gave them waivers so they could burn dirty coal and put out all their stuff, but everybody else had to shut down. They massively increased their prices. So there's a lot of scams involved in this. I'm really concerned about the environment. GMO, genetic engineering, cross-species chimera, open pharmacological crops being grown everywhere, super salmon being released in the ocean that are part insect, that are mutating and extincting regular salmon. Just human-animal hybrids, nanotech getting loose. I mean, these are the real threats. AI getting out of control. Everything I talked about decades ago that Elon Musk and others now are covering. Antimatter weapons, the Pentagon admits they've developed but that remain classified. We are developing things that can destroy ourselves. I'm concerned that carbon dioxide they picked because you have air, you have oxygen, you have carbon dioxide, you have sunlight, you have water. Those are the things you need for life. And everybody knows sunlight isn't bad. Everybody knows oxygen isn't bad. Everybody knows water isn't bad. So they chose carbon dioxide because it sounds like monoxide. And then if you tax that, then you can tax the entire life cycle. And again, the Earth is at the lowest level of carbon dioxide in its entire history from ice cores that are millions of years old. You can say, oh, well, it went up a little bit in the last few decades. Yeah, it went like this. Bounced a little bit, still going down. Mars lost its atmosphere because it lost its carbon dioxide. They've done the samples now. There used to be water all over it. It lost its atmosphere. The Earth has the thinnest atmosphere it's ever had since the beginning of the planet because the volcanoes aren't as active anymore and they aren't putting out all the new gases to replenish the gases of our atmosphere. It's like biblical that we found the oil right at the time in Earth's development when our atmosphere began to get lost. If you don't believe me, look up the atmosphere. Real climatologists, real experts on desertification and things are saying we need more carbon dioxide because the Sahara is getting bigger because lack of carbon dioxide. Plants need less water, grow faster with more carbon dioxide. The plankton need more carbon dioxide. It's a trace gas, folks. It's a trace gas. Look it up for yourself. So I see all these dumb young people who mean well, showing up, busting their $100 a day, getting put in hotels to run, throwing garbage all over the streets, being handed their fake signs to go out and bitch, science is real, white men run science, they're the bad guys, all this weird crap. And it just freaks me out because the globalists are out to get you. They're out to scam you, ladies and gentlemen, and we need science, and science is real. And most climatologists and most astrophysicists are out there saying we're not liberal or conservative. The fact is the sun's the main driver. So the UN 6 years ago at the Copenhagen summit, they came out and what they said. They said, we're voting to say the sun doesn't affect climate. All right, I'm almost done. The media is taking everything we do out of context. When I've done comedy pieces, when I've done sketches, when Leanne beat me up because I wasn't supporting Trump, and they've actually gone on the news and they've said that's real, and that I'm crazy. And it shows me fighting with a woman, it shows me dressed as a joker, it shows me with a lizard head on. You've seen it all over the news. So I say, that's not really who I am. That's satire to illustrate a point. And the media says I'm a liar. Now everything I do is fake. Only the dumbest people out there don't understand that 99% of what we do is very serious. We do some satire. It's obviously meant to illustrate what our points we're making. But see, that's meant to target people that don't know who we are. So that when they then hear me talk, they don't believe what I'm saying. Because the globalists know most people don't check facts. So they're just hoping people hear me and don't check into geoengineering and find out it's already going on. They just hope that you just hear me and see me and go, oh, that's the guy that admits he's fake. Like Borat or something. Sacha Baron Cohen or whatever his name is. That's why I've turned down doing big satire movies and turned down reality TV shows. I've turned down, my friend Jesse James has turned down over 500 of them. I've turned down more than 30 of them because they always distort who you are. But it didn't matter. I didn't sell out. I wasn't fake. They just said I was. Because they go, look, he's in movies. Look, he does characters. Yeah, just like Lynn Beck does or anybody else to illustrate who I am. And they say that I've said that I'm fake and a fraud, and they can't show you any clip of that because I never said that. That's why they're the fake media. That's why they're so desperate. That's why they're so scared. Because they know. I'll sit here and say, Google, Council on Foreign Relations, CFR, that's the most elite group in the U.S., governmental corporate interface, admitting they're manipulating the weather and even using it as a weapon. We even have a 1979 weapons treaty on not using weather weapons. I've had the father of weather weapons on, Ben Livingston, the first guy to fly into hurricanes and typhoons in the Pacific. And I sit here and I see him on the news every year go, hurricanes are the worst ever. You can actually go to the National Weather Service and it says lowest amount of hurricanes the last 5 years. But see, they think you won't check that. Just type in lowest amount of hurricanes since the 60s, actually, in the last 5 years. But every time there's a hurricane or a dust storm, they go, it's the end of the world. Every time there's an ice storm, no one ever went through an ice storm. Of course they did. And again, they're selling a solution of putting taxes on all of our activities and carbon dioxide when only Europe and the United States and Australia have to pay the carbon taxes. China and Mexico and India and hundreds of other countries, over 160, are exempt. And the globalists have deals to move our jobs there, and they get control of the steel mills and the factories and the power plants that the globalist families own, and then they shut us off so we can't compete. And the one thing Trump's done that's absolutely key is say that's not happening anymore. And let us have our coal back, our clean coal power plants. Still can't compete with the dirty plants, but it's better than nothing. Said that we're going to have small business tax cuts. That's why there's a lot of exuberance back in the economy. He's been delivering on that. He shouldn't be going after Snowden, who helped get him in office. That's a whistleblower, not a leaker. It's exposing criminal activity. And Trump's wrong on a lot of other stuff, and it's a sad thing to see, but the globalists still hate him because he's actually an American president trying to do something real and trying to transfer power back to Washington from the globalists and back to the states and the people. We are transferring power from Washington back to you, from the UN back to America, back to you. He just cut the UN funding by 50%. I told you decades ago the UN's involved in giant sex rings. Type it in. They just got busted, AP. Thousands of little kids. Some of them they killed in sex slavery. And they run the same story thousands of times a week, thousands of times. Alex Jones says the moon landings didn't happen. Alex Jones loves the KKK. All these lies. I believe the moon landings happened. I hate the KKK and have protested many times. Then they'll mix it in and say, he says the government did 9/11. No, I said criminal elements worked with Saudi Arabia and there was a stand down. That's now come out in the 28 pages. Then they'll mix in Sandy Hook never happened. We had debates between people that said it didn't happen and people that said it did happen. You can look that up. InfoWars debates Sandy Hook. They take our devil's advocate discussions that some believe nothing happened, some say it all happened. They lie to misrepresent, to lie to you. They think you're stupid. You know what's anti-science? Is the UN and the schools saying arrest people, and the governor of New York saying arrest people with 14 other attorney generals in 14 other states, that's 15 states. They want to arrest you if you question man-made climate change. They want to arrest you if you disagree with them, or they want scientists or university professors fired if they question. Think about that. Is that pro-science? Questioning? Are the colleges banning free speech and banning Halloween parties? Is that free speech? Is that liberal? No, the truth is they're authoritarian because they're losing. And that's why they want to shut down the free press. That's why they're demonizing InfoWars. And if they're able to do that to us, they're able to shut it all off. I'll be on the radio today with Owen Schroyer, 4 to 6 p.m. Central, Infowars.com/show, PrisonPlanet.tv. I want to thank you all for your amazing support. I want to thank you all for everything you've done. I want to thank you all for spreading the word, but understand, when I'm being demonized, you're being demonized. When they're trying to shut me down, they're trying to shut you down. They know we've been the most effective exposing them. That's why they're lying everywhere about us. You don't have to trust me ever, and don't. You go check out everything I say. From geoengineering, to the Club of Rome documents, to the UN and population reduction documents, to all of it. And you find out what I told you is the truth about Obamacare and everything else. I told you Obamacare would increase your prices and get rid of your doctor. It was meant to go bankrupt. Now it's happening because they said that was the plan. They think you're so stupid. They say, thank God you don't have a memory. Let's get our memories back about what made this country great. It was never perfect, but the idea of basic liberty. And let's spread the word. And let's beat the algorithms and Google admittedly trying to censor InfoWars and the rest of the libertarian pro-freedom movement, the common sense movement worldwide. And let's come together. And whether Le Pen wins in France or not, doesn't matter. Nationalism is exploding. Think about how they're trying to say that the Islamic attacks that happen every day in Europe, shooting people, killing people, attacking people, aren't terror, aren't Islamic. Think about how they're bringing in all these Islamics into our countries. And the lady that Le Pen's running against is saying terror is just part of life now in France as they let the Islamists take over. And his doctors just got arrested in the U.S. doing Sharia law, cutting little girls' genitals off. This is incompatible. And why would our elites try to merge us with a Stone Age barbarous religion? Because they're not liberals, they're authoritarians. And they want to pose as liberals so they can lead the liberal movement right into a rat hole as a bunch of Pied Pipers. It's not liberal to cut off our energy. It's a consolidation of control, and science is real. Of course it's real. And liberal authoritarianism is real. And liberal globalist movements to cut off energy and make people poor serfs in North Korea and Venezuela and Cuba and China and everywhere else is real. We know how your collectivist system is a nightmare. History's real. The fact that collectivism always creates a nightmare is real. The fact that the biggest banks on earth are funding communism to create slaves and dumb people is real. And science is real. And the suppression of technology is real. And the suppression of new energy systems, thousands of times better than stupid windmills and nuclear reactors, is real. And you're not going to stop humanity. They need global government to suppress technology, to suppress nation states and independent companies, bringing out things that overturn the globalist system. The globalists admit their internal documents. They're in competition with prosperity. They're in competition with competition. That competition is a sin, to quote the first Rockefeller, founder of the dynasty, John D. the First. I'm here for real Renaissance, real liberalism, for Americana, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson 2.0. I'm here for an open free press, for an open free debate. They want to shut down debate as if it's hate speech, and they want to shut you down even being able to have an internet site. They're not liberals, they're authoritarians, and they're trying to bully me, they're trying to make an example out of me, they're trying to destroy me so they can intimidate you. It hasn't worked on me, it's not working on you. It is a badge of honor that I am now one of the most attacked people in the world, second only to Donald Trump. Donald Trump's gone a little bit off. He's still making them mad and trying to be a good president, but it doesn't matter. I will never sell out. I will never back down. And that's why they're announcing I'm a fake. But they can't show you me saying it, can they? No, ladies and gentlemen, everybody knows I'm for real. And everybody can verify what I say. And everybody can know that you and I together, we're changing the world. For every race, color, and creed, there's only one race, the humankind. And the age of humans is back. Where we're not just going to have machines ruling and controlling and globalists and the technocracy, but where humanity's going to be empowered. Infowars.com/show. It is an act of resistance against tyranny to spread that link. Infowars.com/show. Watch Infowars.com, and I'm going to do a live feed with Paul Watson, and I'll be calling you with Owen Schroyer, 4 to 6 p.m. Central. Infowars.com/show. Humanity's struggling for its very life right now, trying to get back to the surface. Get out of this false reality. Get back up to the sun. Get back to God. Get back to the real world. Not the artificial media system, but at least the third dimension. We can do it together. But you've got to take action. Peacefully, with focus, in the info war, with the truth, and be your own leader. But ask God for guidance. Your will overpower them. Together, human intelligence and human action will defeat the technocrats. We defeated them in this election. We will go on defeating them. And we shall never surrender, to quote Winston Churchill, whatever the price may be. We will go on to the end. We will defend this planet.